All right, hey, I just wanted to try to do a few quick problems to get this to help you guys out with these since I know I'm not there. Um, Basically, the process we want to go through is the kind of the rhythm to get into is first you find the period. All right, so the here I have b period equals 2 pi over b, no, pi over b for tangent, right? Pi over b, but in this case b is 1, so period is just pi. So then if there's no phase shift, our vertical asymptotes are just at x equals, we cut the period in half. So pi over 2, right? That's going to be the location of an asymptote. And then since there's no phase shift, I can just right away start adding periods onto that. It's going to be another asymptote every period. So we say plus period times k. So pi times k. And there's my vertical asymptotes. So now I'm going to put 1 at pi over 2. And usually what I'm going to want to do is, if I can, I want to include the y-axis. So I'm going to go backwards on this. Instead of forward pi, I'm going to go backwards pi, which is 4 tick marks is worth pi on this. So that gets me negative pi over 2. Right? And that's the first key is to find that asymptote. And whenever there's no shift, the y-axis will always be right in the middle. We'll also have kind of this halfway point of here we can see we got the middle and then we've got kind of our quarter points there and there. Right? So now this one doesn't have any vertical shift either, so I like to think of it as kind of just a midline of 0. So I'm going to put we start with a point on the midline right at the middle, um, halfway between the two vertical asymptotes. And then since this tangent graph is reflected, a vertical reflection, um, I know it's going to kind of look like this, going from top left to bottom right. And so we take our quarter points, right, halfway to each asymptote, and then I'm going to go up and down the amount of the amplitude. Well, it's not really amplitude for tangent, it's a vertical dilation. So by a half. So I'm going to go up a half and down a half from those points. So if I go left to the tick mark there, I'm going to go up a half unit. I go right to halfway to that asymptote, I go down a half unit. And then I can make my graph from that. Okay, and it's shaped that way because we know this has a vertical reflection, so it's going to be a decreasing tangent graph. Um, let's do number 2 then. Pause it if you need to at any point. Um, um, Here. So for number 2, again, this rhythm of finding the period first is going to be pi over b, so pi over 1/2. So here my period is 2 pi. And so my vertical asymptotes, x equals, cut the period in half, pi. No phase shift, so I'm just going to do plus period k, so plus 2 pi k. And there's one asymptote at pi. I'm going to graph it right away, and head back towards the y-axis. I'm going to subtract 2 pi because that's the period. So 1 pi gets me to 0, 2 pi gets me to negative pi, right? When there's no phase shift, I'm always going to be centered at the y-axis anyway. This time it's down 3, which I'm going to count by twos now. So like -2, -4, -6, -8, 2, 4, 6, 8, just so we can fit everything. So I've got kind of like my midline at -3. Right? So I start there, right in the middle on the y-axis for these. Okay. And then this one has a vertical stretch, vertical dilation by 4. So, and it's a regular, no reflection, so I know it's gonna kind of look like that. So halfway to each asymptote, that'll get me to pi over 2 on the right. So I travel over to pi over 2, and then I'm going to count up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 puts me at y equals 1. Go back to the center, go left to the negative pi over 2, and down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, puts me at -7, and there's my graph. Okay. Um, for number 3, all right, now we do have a phase shift, right? So same idea though, to get those asymptotes, I start by finding the period. Period is going to equal pi over b. B is 1 here, so period is pi. Then my vertical asymptotes. So again, I start by saying x equals half of the period, so pi over 2. But I have to deal with this phase shift of right pi over 4. So I'm going to add pi over 4 there for the phase shift. And then I say the plus period k, so plus pi k. All right, so now I have to actually simplify this. So I have x equals pi over 2 plus pi over 4 is 3 pi over 4 plus pi k. Right, so we've just shifted right by pi over 4. So that puts one of the asymptotes at 3 pi over 4. Each of these tick marks is pi over 4, so that puts me there. And then my period is pi, so I'll go backwards by pi, which puts me at negative pi over 4. There's my other asymptote. I can see this divided nicely into quarters here, right? So shift down 1. So I'll put my middle point, my center kind of there. And then my vertical dilation is by 2 this time. So I go over halfway to the asymptote, up 2 on the right side, halfway to the asymptote, down 2 on the left side. And I kind of do my best to connect that and make the graph. Lastly, number 4, I got to factor out anytime I have that written like this, I got to factor out b. Tangent 2 theta plus, I'm dividing by 2, so pi over 2 plus 2. Okay, same process. Period equals pi over b, so pi over 2. So my VAs, I'm going to have x equals half the period, pi over 4, plus, oops, not plus, my phase shift is left pi over 2, so I'm actually going to subtract pi over 2, and then plus period k, so plus pi over 2k. And when I simplify that, I get that my VAs are x equals pi over 4, take away pi over 4 puts me at negative pi over 4. Sorry, we took away pi over 2, and then plus pi over 2k. So this tells me one of the asymptotes is negative pi over 4. And then I can find another by adding or subtracting pi over 2. I'm going to go to the right this time. So I, again, try to surround the y-axis. Pi over 2 is just 2 tick marks, so I end up at positive pi over 4. Um, vertical translation up 2, so I start in the middle at up 2. And then, and you're just going halfway to the asymptote, and then up the vertical stretch, which is just 1. So halfway to the asymptote up 1, halfway to the asymptote down 1. Okay. Hopefully that helps with the graphing of them. For the rest of these, the notes are posted on the main answer key. Try these out. We'll make sure we go over stuff too when I get back. All right, thanks.